Hi, verb reviewers. At this point in our class, we have talked about the verb to be in the simple present tense. We've talked about the verb to have in the simple present tense. And now we're going to practice moving back and forth between them. In English, we use be and have in the simple present really frequently. So we want to make sure we've got it down. Let's review and then practice. We'll start by reviewing the verb to be. And we use the verb to be in the simple present tense to talk about occupations, nationality, feeling, like your emotions, your age, your height and weight, any physical descriptions that are adjective form. Basically, you can guess that you'll use be. Remember that the verb to be in the simple present tense looks like am, is, or are, depending on your subject. In the negative form, or to say that something isn't true, we're going to use am not, is not, are not. So we're just going to add that word not right after our verb. And to make questions, we're just going to switch those. Am I, are you, is he? To make those information questions, we add a question word first. Why is he? Where is he? Easy review, right? Let's work on to have. To have in the simple present is used to talk about a subject or a person's possessions, qualities, noun form, facial features like hair length, hair color. We might even talk about relationships like I have a sister, and other things like that. In the simple present, to have looks like have or has, depending on your subject. To make it negative, we need to add an auxiliary verb. We're going to add do or does not have. We can also use contractions, which are totally fine. Don't have, doesn't have. We can also use that full form, do not have or does not have. Notice here that our verb is in that base form have. Instead, our auxiliary do or does is the one that changes and takes that S form for the third person singular. To make questions, make sure you keep that auxiliary verb, and that's what switches with the subject. So we create a sandwich with our subject. Do I have? Do you have? Does she have? Third person singular gets does, but all the other verbs, in this case have, are going to go back to the base form. And for information questions, go ahead and add that question word first, then give your do you have sandwich. So do I have? Does she have? What do you have? Now that we've made it through the review, let's do some practice. On these kind of examples, you'll see a sentence using to be or to have, and I want you to try to guess or match the function to the sentence. So this sentence says, I am tired. And in this particular example, why do you think we're using am instead of have? It's because the verb to be is the one we use for feelings in the adjective form. Here's another one. I have two brothers and one sister. In this case, why do you think we're using the verb to have? Because I'm talking about sort of a possession. We're talking about that family relationship. So we're using to have. Kindergarten teachers have lots of patience. Be careful with this one because a lot of feelings and qualities have an adjective form and a noun form. So I could say that kindergarten teacher is patient, ending in a T. In this instance, we're talking about the quality of patience in the noun form. And to have talks about qualities that someone possesses, noun forms. So they have lots of patience as a quality. You are a student. We're using the verb to be, are, because be talks about our occupations. And in the US, if you are a full-time student, we count that as your job. You're doing a lot of work, right? So you can say, I am a student, you are a student, he is a student. To be talks about occupations. Let's look at another one. Those students have lots of pencils. It's an easy one, right? To have talks about possessions. Next, Jose is very tall. Here we're using to be because we're talking about height, weight. Also because tall is an adjective and we use to be to link subjects with adjectives that describe them. My grandparents are American. Using to be because this is their nationality. I could also say my grandmother, my mom's mom, is German. She's from Germany. I am American. My best friend is Mexican. Her grandparents are from Mexico. Her parents go back and forth all the time. So when we talk about nationality or where we're from, we can use to be. Here's another example. My son has blue eyes. I'm using the verb to have because I'm talking about a facial feature. I'm describing his eyes. Those are something that he has, something he possesses. He has two eyes, and I'm just adding that they're blue. I switched really fast, sorry. My cousin is 21 years old. This one I know is tricky for a lot of native Spanish speakers because it switches. In English, we talk about age using to be, not to have. So to be talks about age. Here's another one. My students are smart. Obviously. Again, I'm using to be because I'm talking about a description that's an adjective. And we use am, is, or are to link our subject with adjectives that describe that subject. I don't have blonde hair. Clearly. I don't have blonde hair. I'm using to have because I'm talking about hair, which is technically a noun. And because this is kind of a like Kind of a facial feature? You made it to the end. Hopefully, you got a nice review and a nice reminder about the functions or when to use to be and to have. And hopefully, all of those examples gave you an idea of what those functions look like and an example about how you might use to be and to have in your own writing and speaking in English. If you have any questions, let me know. I will see you online.